Good evening, everyone that is watching on JCTV Africa. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful program where we give you updates on what has been happening throughout the day. Hoping that I find you well. And today we are looking at the latest development of what is happening. So, if you have been following JCTV Africa, you know that we posted earlier on about the police looking for Blessed Geza. They are saying that they are searching for him over a number of issues. So go to our channel and check out that. So hopefully we are going to have some people talking about that during the day of tomorrow. Anyway, today we are going to give you reactions from political parties. That's what we are going to be giving you today, reactions from political parties. But before we go there, I want us to look at the developments that are making the headline of our show today. Thank you so much for being part of this. So today, I want you to look at this video that I'm about to show you now, a video of Nelson Chamisa. This is right what you are seeing now on your screen coming up. Right. This is Nelson Chamisa. There you can see. First of all, you can see the first February 11th, which was yesterday. New Zimbabwe, a new Zimbabwe. He posted, and people engaged. And then today he has posted with the former president of Mozambique, His Excellency Joaquim Chissano. And as you know, Joaquim Chissano is a friend to President Edmore Mnangagwa. And they are working together with the issue of compensation of white farmers. But also, you know that Chissano was here in 2023 at the 2023 elections. Now, this, according to my sources that I have spoken to, they have told me that the issue of the National Transitional Authority government is on the cards. But also, one of our sources that is inside the government has told us that this President Edmore Mnangagwa has been told that you need to go, and he is made well aware of that, and has been told that you need to go. If you have checked in the past 2 days, you see that Abarakashi have toned down a little bit. Only today, in the afternoon, that's when they started to show up. But they have been told that it's time to go. And he was preparing to go. Let me just show you the other video, the other update that confirms what I'm talking about. And as you can see, Nelson Chamisa is excited. Why is he talking about New Zimbabwe? We know for the past few months, since 2023, Nelson Chamisa has been posting verses. But now, this is the development. So as I said to you last time, that the issue is they wanted to negotiate with Edmore Mnangagwa first and tell him that resign. And mind you, it is also something that has been spoken that President Edmore Mnangagwa wanted to leave before he finishes his term. So they told him that you wanted to leave. You have been speaking about that you wanted to leave and give it to someone else. What has changed now? So that's why you see Joaquim Chissano is in town in order to relay that message to President Edmore Mnangagwa that you need to leave so that you prevent a confrontational war or a bloodbath or a civil war. Right. Let me show you how these details have been also been relayed by some of our the source that we normally give us what is happening. This is International Cable News Network. Go and check it out. It is posted on Comrade Neva Masurase. Here is what it says. Category 1, security detail at hand has that the deep state security apparatus have now formally advised Emmerson Mnangagwa to resign peacefully and avoid public humiliation. Right? So that is what has been said. And Mnangagwa has since communicated the message to his family and his closest allies, who have been the loudest pushing for the constitutional amendment to enable him to be in power, his sons are understood to be now preparing to leave Zimbabwe before his exit. The latest development triggered by pressers by the respected Geza, right? And sorry about that. Let me just switch off this. By Geza, a led contingent of senior war veterans have rattled the entire dynasty cabal, whose prepaid lapdogs and functionaries have started going quiet. With reality kicking in and fast, many ZANU-PF seniors are reported to be now stampeding for accommodation in the Chiwenga faction. Led by Gezao, veterans and deep state power brokers are now waiting for the feedback on when Mnangagwa will be tendering his resignation. Failure to comply with the directive will lead to ultimatum being given, which will be following by the opening of mass protest floodgates on the streets. This is the what is said here. Right. So thank you so much. Now, this is what is happening. So you see, Nelson Chamisa is doing this, but I've also spoken to other political players. So I want to give you each them one by one, the one that I've spoken to before this broadcast, so that they can give me their thoughts on the recent developments. So first of all, let us listen to Mr. Marange from Freedom Fighters for Change, speaking about this whole issue of Geza. Let's go to Mr. Marange first. Right.
No, I'm good. How are you?
Good. You are seeing what is happening in Zimbabwe. Can you tell us what is your thoughts on the arrest of the statement by Mr. Geza and the statement by the police of seeking Mr. Geza, and what is happening within ZANU-PF?
Okay. I came across the letter from the therapy signed by Paul Tembanyati that they were looking for the whereabouts of our war veteran, Blessed Geza, for questioning. My question to the therapy and those who are behind the investigation or whatever allegations or the supposed questioning of Mr. Geza is this: did you not know all these charges that you are leveling against him before he spoke out against Mnangagwa? Were you not aware of these charges, or were you not aware of these allegations? If you were aware of these allegations now, why didn't you take action during that time? It shows one thing, and it tells us one thing. This is a corrupt regime, a very corrupt regime. So the reason why they were not looking for Geza all along, it was because they are corrupt. Now that Geza is come out of the bag, is come out of their basket, they are now looking after him. Whether the charges are true or false, I must not know. But the question now is, why now? Why after he has spoken out? Why are you looking for him? Why were you not looking for him all this while? It is the Mr. Geza's case is the same with many other ZANU-PF towards. They are there in ZANU-PF because they have cases to answer. They are being protected for their corrupt activities, for their many lawlessness behavior. So they are they are just there because they are afraid to get arrested. You see, I'm not saying Geza is guilt. No, I do not know. It is the duty of the law to prove whether he is guilty or he is not guilty.
Yes, yes. So my question is as the opposition, what is your position to Mr. Geza's statements? Are you in support of him? Have you ever made any contacts with Mr. Geza? If he's going to call out for protests, are you going to join him? Are you going to support this call by Mr. Geza that he has been making in the past few days?
The call by Mr. Geza, if they are genuine, you know what? I don't trust the ZANU-PF entirely. You see, they play what we call mind game. Right. What they do is they have intelligence whereby they bring something out which gets waves, and the people, they focus on that thing and divert divert the people from the real issues of the country. You see, so I don't trust ZANU-PF a bit. So if Mr. Geza is genuine in what he's saying, then it's a welcome development. It's a welcome development. But as of supporting, if he calls for a protest, I cannot say we'll join him now because we have our own way, our own modus operandi. We have our own way of handling ZANU-PF. We have our own way. If it falls within our mode of operandi, then we will join in. But if it collides with our plans, then we will not join in, though we will support, but from the background. So, because I don't trust ZANU-PF, and any member of ZANU-PF saying whatever they say, I don't trust them, because that's the tactic that they've been using all along to divert the attention of people from the real issues that are affecting the Zimbabweans. Shops are closing, prices are skyrocketing. Yeah. Things are very difficult for an ordinary citizen. Mines, minerals are being looted through Forbes border post. There is much land degradation. There is much corruption in land, parceling of land. So those are the real issues that is affecting our people. So we need to be diverted from the real issues and focus on other matters that just arise, you know. So as of supporting Mr. Geza, if he's genuine, because the issues that he raised, they are genuine issues, but is he genuine himself?
All right.
Because that's what normally happens with the ZANU-PF. Those are their tactics. They bring someone out who opposes them, you follow them, and you are diverted from the 2030 agenda, and then you focus on that issue, forgetting about the real issues that are affecting your day-to-day lives.
Right. So the question now is, how can you know that he's genuine, and how can you know that he is not fake? You know, what are the mechanisms that you have in place to ascertain his genuinity? Because if he's genuine, obviously that is something that you need to follow. How can you then verify his genuinity if you have not engaged him?
Yeah, we might engage him somehow. That is, if he's among those people who are in our plan to engage. But as of now, we are not intending to engage him. But on how are we going to find out if he's genuine or not genuine, time will tell. Normally, we give it a time. We don't just jump into conclusion that he is not genuine, or we don't just jump into conclusion that he is genuine. You see, both his points, he's saying Mnangagwa should not get to 2030, he must resign. And who is he intending to put in place of Mnangagwa? It's a ZANU-PF candidate. And we are saying as freedom fighters for change, ZANU-PF has run out of ideas. is a group of thugs. Of course, there are few people who are just blinded, who are in ZANU-PF, who are genuine people. But most of the people in ZANU-PF, they are thugs, especially the top leadership. They are just thugs, and they cannot take this country anyway. So if Geza is genuine, then he must say ZANU-PF has lost all elections, and ZANU-PF should be thrown out of the race by all means. If he is genuine, then we go to an election which is free and fair, monitored by all stakeholders. Free and fair election with free airtime on all the state broadcasting services or state media. There must be equal opportunity or equal airplay for all the political parties. That is an election that would be acceptable. But before going to election, you must talk of a transitional government. That is what we need right now to normalize the situation in our country. Then,
all right, you were still talking. Our line was not that great. You can continue.
No, I was saying we learned from our past mistakes.
Yes.
In 2017, 99% of the Zimbabweans, they ran in street in solidarity with the coup d'etat that happened in 2017, the removal of Mugabe. And the people marched in support of the move, but only to realize that it was a ZANU-PF thing. According to Shinamasa, he said this is a ZANU-PF thing. And the people got disappointed again. And we are where we are today because of what happened in 2017. So we are not fools and we are not blinded anymore. So we cannot support any agenda or any motive from a ZANU-PF supporter or a ZANU-PF commissariat or a ZANU-PF member. We know them of not being genuine. You see, so we take our time to support them, looking seeing if they are genuine. If he is genuine, then he is welcome. To our party as Freedom Fighters for Change. Is welcome if he's genuine. We'll support him through and through.
All right. Mr. Marange there, thank you so much for your time and giving us your thoughts on the issue of Mr. Geza. I really appreciate your all right. All right. That was Mr. Marange. So we also had a conversation with Mr. Sithole from Zimbabwe Independent Movement. And then lastly, we're also going to have Mr. Dhamba from the movement, the MDC, Movement for Democratic Change. So brace up for that as we are going to go into the conversation that we had with those individuals. If you want to give your comments and your thoughts, if you want to share your thoughts, the number is there on the screen. Please share your thoughts with us, and we'll also comment and share this live so that people can also get to know what is really happening. Right. Now let us go to the next clip of Mr. General Sithole from the Zimbabwe Independent Movement. Let's go and hear what he had to say. Just hold on. Okay. Good evening, viewers. I am joined by General Sithole, the national chairperson for Zimbabwe Independent Movement. We once had him on the show. General Sithole, how are you?
I'm well, Mkoma Jetro. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Right. Tell us, you have seen what is happening with Mr. Geza. What is your thoughts on these developments that we are seeing and the recent comments by Mr. Geza? Tell us your thoughts as a party and your comments to this, please.
Thank you so much, all the viewers, and thank you so much also for giving me this opportunity. Remember, whatever is happening in Zimbabwe, not new. We already knew about this, that it is going to take this direction. You know, what Comrade Geza is doing is just the popping out of the popcorn from the hot pot. Therefore, we the Zimbabwean people now, we now from the previous events which unfolded, because even though the factional fights of ZANU-PF can escalate to such a point that we not organized, it is not going to help us anyway. Right now, what I can comment is that as much as the factional fights of ZANU-PF is escalating, we as the people of Zimbabwe, especially the political players, opposition side, we need to organize ourselves and now come together to make a formation which is going to have one voice and wanting to see one objective. Because if we cannot do that, we are going again to cross the river. On the other side will be another jacket of ZANU-PF, which is upside down, which is not going to benefit anyone. My advice now is that let us put aside our positions. Let us now come together to build one movement which is having one objective: to see transformation in the country. And by seeing that transformation, we will be having a greater share, we will be having a greater claim on the transformation of Zimbabwe, because the people will be the beneficiary of what we have done. So we need to take advantage of this while ZANU-PF is still in chaos like this. Whatever Comrade Geza is saying, it is one of those things which are happening.
All right. You tell me, as a party, have you contacted Mr. Geza or his people? Have you made any contacts?
I can confirm that we have contacted some of the war veterans. It's quite a channel to actually reach him because of the security reasons. But we are talking to some of the minded war veterans who are also seconding what is happening. That is the effort which we are pushing now. And for that reason, I think I can only share that.
All right. Then there is something that I wanted to ask on that part. Now we are seeing Mr. Geza is being wanted by the police. What is your thoughts? Do you think that they will arrest him? And what is your position if they successfully arrest him?
Our position is clear. I think on the previous discussion we did, I painted a picture that the country is in deficit of the accountability. It is also in a deficit of unity. That is why we don't see progress. So PF is a one-man's band which are playing the tune according to their rhythm. You understand? Therefore, it is not something which is going to put us in a panic mode to see that they are bringing out skeleton issues just under the ground to surface them. You understand? I can see again that I don't think it's going to work, because they are only bringing these cases in retaliation to what he has said. Otherwise, it was going to make sense if they had said it before he came public to lighten a lot of people in Zimbabwe who are living in darkness. Whatever the Zimbabwe public police is trying to do, it is clear that they are being weaponized by some political elites who wants to push a personal agenda. So I think it was far much better that the police can stay out of this until everything is sorted. Then they will bring out issues, because if they try to push a person who is giving crucial information to the country, it means they are also taking part into concealing bad things which are happening. Because no, there's a lot of things which is happening under the ground. The country does not have accountability. I said so, Mkoma Jetro, from long back.
All right.
Therefore, this is a clear weaponization of the security apparatus in the country. which is being done by the political elite. So it doesn't make sense to us.
All right. And lastly, what is your words of advice to the people of Zimbabwe who are saying we know what happened in 2017, and we ended up being told to chinu chedu. What are your words? Because people want to participate, but they are skeptical. What do you have to say? What word of advice do you have to say to them? Because they are scared of being used like what happened in 2017.
Our words speak on behalf of the Zimbabwe independent movement. Ngoma Jethro is to say the people of Zimbabwe must know that every successful revolution which might happen in the country, it must be on the shoulders of the citizens. And the very same citizens, they are supposed to be the beneficiaries of that revolution. This is another bling of a revolution coming towards the people of Zimbabwe. We must not allow it to be claimed by any faction. If we are going to manage, by participation of everyone, to bring down this tyrant and this bad governance, which is being done by ZANU-PF, we must not allow anyone to claim this revolution but the people of Zimbabwe. And the people of Zimbabwe are the ones who are supposed to select the leaders they want. And we urge the people of Zimbabwe to make a call for a transitional government which is going to be inclusive. All progressive forces, all the progressive people, all the civic organizations, they must form part of the transitional government, and making sure that in so doing, we want to heal the country. We want to make sure that there's unity. At the same time, we need to promote accountability. Then start to see progress before we can now go to the elections, because there's a lot of things which needs to be done before we can put the elections in place. So the people of Zimbabwe must be very, very clear in their mind on what criteria are they going to use to advocate for the transitional government which has got inclusivity.
All right. General Sithole, thank you so much for your time. We hopefully that we are going to catch up with you once there are any developments. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Pleasure. All right. That is Mr. Sithole from the national spokesperson for Zimbabwe Independent Movement. We also had a conversation with Mr. Lazarus Dhamba from Movement for Democratic Change, giving us his side of what their party and their party's position on these developments. So let us get into that conversation that we had with Mr. Dhamba so that we wrap up the show. There is Mr. Dhamba, the conversation that I had with him earlier. Good evening, viewers and listeners. Thank you so much. We are now joined by Mr. Dhamba, the spokesperson for MDC Zimbabwe. Mr. Dhamba, good evening.
Good evening, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I wanted to hear your thoughts on the latest developments of the fighting that is happening inside ZANU-PF, whereby we are seeing Blessed Geza saying that this is the final push. They want Mnangagwa out. What is your position as MDC to these developments? And as you are watching them, what is your stance?
First and foremost, let me thank you very much for bringing me on this program and for allowing us as a party to air our views. It means that you value our input. You also value our presence in opposition politics. So thank you very much. And I want you to continue with this platform because it is very positive. Secondly, let me say that, yes, I've seen Mr. Geza or Comrade Geza making these pronouncements on TV. I've seen him on several channels here in Zimbabwe, where he is saying we are mobilizing the people of Zimbabwe, we are mobilizing war veterans.
Yes.
Now, the trick is, I don't know how far he has gone in mobilizing the war veterans.
Right.
Because I think Emerson Mnangagwa, if people do not know him, is a very transactional person.
Yes.
And if you look at the last 2 weeks, he has launched a program for war veterans, not just one, but 2 programs, one for bows and the other 150 million for their projects, which means that Emerson Mnangagwa's strategy is to isolate Geza from the real war veterans or from the group of people that call themselves war veterans. Why am I saying that? Because if you look at the number of war veterans from the time of the liberation struggle in 1980, the number is ballooned from 20,000 to 200,000. Now we don't know who is the actual war veteran and who is not a real war veteran. But
Right.
the point that I'm trying to make here is that he has been isolated already. And last week, I think we saw the presidential advisor in Matabeleland being welcomed by Jabulani Sibanda, the provincial chairperson. He is not just a provincial chairperson, but is an influential war veteran of the liberation struggle. And this is the man that was suspended before by Robert Mugabe and Grace for siding with Emerson Mnangagwa. And the guy is a mobilizer. That we need to agree and to admit.
Yes.
And he's very agile. And looking at our fellow comrade, we agree with him. We agree with him in so many things. But I'm so sorry. I think the game he is playing is now being isolated by a person who controls the state purse. And the guy, is very transactional. And we are seeing thousands of people thronging these war veteran meetings. So I don't know where Mr. Geza is stepping on or what he's relying on. We don't have this inside information within the war veterans. We don't have this inside information within the party itself as ZANU-PF. And I think I also want you to analyze one thing.
Right.
Douglas Mahia is also moving around the country as a war veteran and even making press statements. So already the game is now being played around the war veterans, meaning that they are trying to isolate him. And they've already done that because he is the only one speaking. Although he is moving around with the other 6 guys that they are not introducing themselves, but he is the only one speaking. And Mnangagwa is isolating him. And so I don't know where he has got the courage or what he is banking on. But I'm telling you, my brother, he is dealing with a very transactional person.
All right. Looking at his last statement, he said that they are going to call on the civil society and they are going to call on progressive forces, which is the opposition, and then form a transitional authority that will lead to proper elections. This is excitable to the ordinary Zimbabwean. Do you think this position can be achieved by him, maybe through the military, because this is what everyone is perceiving? Do you think this isolation will succeed in making sure that he is neutralized?
My brother, you stole my thunder. You stole my thunder there. In reality, I don't think that it is very possible for us to have a transitional authority. Yes, it's very exciting to the generality of the Zimbabwean people, but we just need to look at this.
Yeah.
In short, he's saying we are going to have a coup.
Yeah.
He's saying that.
Yeah.
Yes, in a very indirect manner. He's saying there's going to be a coup and there's going to be a transitional authority. But the transitional authority, is it there in the constitution? That is number one. And the coup that he's talking about, I don't want to put words in his mouth. I don't want to put words in his mouth. But I think when he says we are going to remove this government and have a transitional authority, it means he's saying there's going to be a coup, because there is no other way that he can remove that government outside of an election.
Yes.
See, so you see where I'm coming from.
Yes.
We as a party, our position is that we need to get into state power using constitutional, peaceful means into government. This is the reason why we as the MDC have been calling for electoral reforms. Although we very much know that ZANU-PF cannot reform itself out of power.
Yeah.
But one thing positive that I want the world to know, we managed to drag Robert Mugabe kicking and screaming, and Mnangagwa was there to the negotiating table, to the extent that we had a reform that is basing the election results on a polling station. That it was our push. We also managed to have a new constitution through electoral reforms. We pushed that agenda. We can continue still pushing, because one thing that we want to avoid as a party is to have Zimbabwe as a pariah country like South Sudan, like Sudan, like Somalia, like any other country. These guys have gone through conflict after conflict and nothing is coming out of it. So as a Zimbabwe, we are saying We cannot have conflict after conflict. This is because Zimbabwe was colonized by violence.
Yes.
We had to go to war to get this country by violence. After the 1980 elections, there was violence. And then in 1982, there was Gukurahundi, that was violence. And then we had violence again in 1990. And then we had violence in 2000. We had violence in 2008. So this vicious circle, we just need to get rid of it.
Right.
So I just want to warn Mr. Geza that this business of talking violence as a war veteran, this is the reason why now ZANU-PF is saying he killed somebody. They are now trying to pin this thing on him because he is using a violent tone.
Right.
They're trying to pin him down using his own words. Because look at the person that are saying it. It is Minister Ziyambi, is a legal guru. Don't take that away from him.
Yeah.
So we do not have a caught offside as a party. We are supporting the war veterans stance that the 2030 agenda is wrong because we started it. We made noise about it.
Yes.
They got in, the church got in, but we don't want conflict out of this. Because even our president, Douglas Monzora, warned the people of Zimbabwe that this thing is going to be ugly, it's going to be violent. And this is where this thing is leading with all these words, these tough words that everybody is saying across the political divide. And let me say this. There is a question that I never answered because your first question is a part A and a part B.
Yeah.
What is our position as a party?
Yes.
The problem with ZANU-PF is when they're having their conflicts, it's not advisable for us to get involved in them. Because after we managed to march together with the ZANU-PF, Chamisa akazobuda the following day achiti chinhu chedu.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, if you know that time, Morgan Tsvangirai addressed the people at State House.
Yes.
Douglas Monzora, as the Secretary General of the party, addressed the people at in Highfield.
Yeah.
If you remember very well, and he's saying Ziradzema Soja.
Yes.
If you know deep down, there was a transitional authority that was planned then.
Yeah. So,
Because it was a coup, there was a transitional authority which I cannot divulge here, but it was there where Morgan Tsvangirai was going to be part of this government.
yeah.
Where Dumiso Dabego was going to be part of this government, but unfortunately that did not happen. After we managed to take power from Robert Mugabe, vakati chinhu chedu. Now after vatora chinhu chavo, what have they done to the country? They have destroyed it, and they want to go further and say tada kusvika 2030 kusvika hameno kusvika kumberi mberi ikoko. I want to quote Masimiria Mbugati, the chairman of Harare ZANU-PF province.
Yeah.
So it means they want to have a monarch. So we cannot help the war veterans to fight ZANU-PF. The war veterans must help us to bring about a democratic change in this country. Because now I want you to listen very carefully. I said, we don't want to assist the war veterans in removing Mnangagwa because the Chinhu Chao.
Yes.
But we want the war veterans to assist us in having electoral reforms and stopping the 23rd agenda so that this thing must belong to the people of Zimbabwe, not to a particular political party, not to an organ of ZANU-PF, the war veterans, not to an individual. We don't want that.
Right. But
We need to return the country back to the people.
But Mr. Dhamba, looking at the past, you know that ZANU-PF has not been able to comply with the laws that are there, even if you have reforms, and you know the reason why some people are so excitable about this idea of a possible coup and the coup rhetoric that is being spoken by Mr. Geza is because the army is still involved in our politics, and that's what has caused disputed elections over and over again. So the question that I pose then to you is, if you are not going to support this, and you are in a maybe oxymoronic situation, if you are not going to support this from Mr. Geza, are you not still going to have electoral reforms that are not going to be followed because the military is involved in the politics of the day?
I don't want you to get me wrong or the people of Zimbabwe to get me wrong.
Yeah.
I said what we are not going to do is to help the war veterans in a violent push for power.
All right.
We don't subscribe to violence. But we want the war veterans to assist us in stopping the 2030 agenda.
Yeah.
If you understood that part.
Yes, I got that.
And we want the war veterans, if we win this, if we manage to stop this in this upcoming referendum, we know that there are plans already to have a referendum in this country. Yeah. We want the war veterans to mobilize their peers to stop this 2030 agenda by mobilizing them to vote no.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. But what we cannot do is to assist the war veterans in a violent takeover of power. because violence begets violence. Because if you are looking for vengeance, you must be prepared to dig two graves, one for yourself and one for your opponent. And we don't want that.
Right.
That is our position. And one thing that we fear is now they have turned a national agenda of stopping the 2030 into an internal party affair. We don't want that. We don't want to get involved in ZANU-PF affairs. Because if we remove Emmerson Mnangagwa with this violent takeover, which I don't support, which we don't support as a party to support a violent takeover, it means they are simply going to replace Emmerson Mnangagwa with another person who is also ZANU-PF.
Yeah.
Is that what we want? We removed Robert Mugabe, who was ZANU-PF. We replaced him with Emmerson Mnangagwa, who was ZANU-PF. And we are going to repeat the same process again, and we expect to get change from that. That is not correct.
All right.
That's our position. We want to change the governance culture. We want to change ZANU-PF. We want to remove ZANU-PF from power because they have always been doing that. You said right so. They've got a tendency of slipping back into their factory mode.
Right. You spoke about the issue, what is now at hand, that the police are looking for Mr. Geza. And what does it tell you about now these crimes that are now resurfacing? What does it speak about the culture of ZANU-PF in your view? What does it speak? Because these crimes, from what I'm seeing here, they are saying they were committed in 2020. One would then ask, why are they surfacing now?
It is because ZANU-PF has got a culture of impunity.
Right.
But when you cross their line or when you bite the hand that is feeding you, they will take that file and then they will put it on the top of the table and execute it, which means they're going to weaponize your actions that you would have committed under their impunity program.
Yeah.
That's the whole problem with this system. It means that when Geza is being accused of murdering somebody in 2020, what about the other people that were murdered before by war veterans?
Yeah.
What about those other people? So it means that the support in ZANU-PF is fictitious. Anyone who dares to cross the path of the party, they will be arrested, or they will be persecuted, or they will be exposed to litigation. So we are simply saying we don't want this culture. Nobody must be above the law. And we want to create a new Zimbabwe where if I am wrong, if I kill somebody today as the presidential spokesperson at State House or at my house or in private, without defending myself, without the intention of defending myself, but blatantly killing somebody, I must be tried. I must be tried. I must be arrested. I must be brought before the law. Justice must take its course. But in this scenario, ZANU-PF is so, they're like gods. They can kill somebody, do things, take somebody's property, take somebody's wife, take somebody's house. Nothing happens to them. But the moment that person crosses the path of the party, he is exposed. This is what you don't want. Kunesu nelavo. Kunesu, the ruling elite nelavo, who are not the ruling elite, who are exposed to all vagaries, in society, even accused of things that they never did. And their files are just dusted and polished or hidden. That's not the culture that we want in this country. We want to change the governance culture.
All right. So if I get you correctly, you do not support the issue of takeover, but you also mentioned the issue of protests, that they want to do mass protests. If I hear you correctly, you are saying that this is what you want, mass protests to stop 2030.
Oh, yes, because I think if you go to our constitution, our national constitution allows us to demonstrate in peace. It is allowed by the supreme law of the land. And nobody must stop the war veterans. Nobody must stop civic society. Nobody must stop the MDC or any other political party that is intending to demonstrate against the 2030 because it is allowed. Let me take you way back when Robert Mugabe was still the president. We had a 1 million man march that was organized and mobilized by Jabulani Sibanda because it was legal.
Yeah.
So this time around, we want to have a 1 million march against this 2030 agenda because it is legal. What applies for the goose applies also for the gander.
Have you made any
It is legal.
Have you made any contacts with Mr. Geza to find out as a party?
I think that I cannot divulge at the moment. I think when the time comes, we will tell you about it.
All right. Okay.
Thank you so much, my brother.
Mr. Dhamba, thank you so much for coming through and giving us your thoughts on these developments. We really appreciate your time.
You are welcome, my brother. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Right, that was Mr. Dhamba. These are some of the thoughts that we had earlier, and I thought I needed to give you that. What do you make of this conversation that we had? And you yourself, as an individual, as a Zimbabwean, what do you think is the way forward? I'm always skeptical, and you know, you have been beaten. You have been beaten once, twice shy. So that's what everyone is talking about. But I would love to hear what you think about the latest development. Do you think they are going to arrest Blessed Geza? And from what I'm seeing from different accounts, from different political players, they are saying Mnangagwa is a goner. You look at Jelas Mawarire, he said Mnangagwa is a goner. Sevia Kasukwere is saying Mnangagwa is a goner. And you look at the guys that are inside Triple C, they are saying the same. I tried to reach out to Mr. Christopher Mchangwa today. He could not pick up my call. I tried to reach out to the people from ZANU-PF spokesperson. They could not pick up my call. So this is, and I spoke to another ZANU-PF person, and they said they don't want to be caught off guard because they understand that there is that volatility that is happening within the party, and they don't want to be. They are sitting on the fence, so there is confusion inside the party. There are those that are saying, "Let's go with the 2030." And we support President Edmore Marange, but there are those who are reservist. They don't want to find themselves outside the party and being excluded, like what happened with the likes of Sevia Kasukwere, Anawota Mzembe, and Jonathan Moyo, and Patrick Shuao. Now, this is what is happening. So there is something that is brewing. You must understand that we can't negate that fact that there is something that is happening inside the party of ZANU-PF, and there is tables that are promising to turn. That being said, people of Zimbabwe, thank you so much for being part of this conversation. I want to read your comments before I close up. I'm seeing here Gogo Dube. What this MDC T guy is demoralizing. And the other guys also saying this one is a ZANU-PF project. And then we have someone here saying that this chap is talking nonsense. Then we have got, can I preach? Okay. No, we also have Shuman Debele. Why are Shona people advocating for continuation of Shona rulers like Chamisa? And saying there's a good development. I have here Max Mambo. Kunini sisokola matota ungakhuluma uyabulawa. That is someone, that is Max Mambo. And then Howard Adams. I think what is needed at this stage is to push Mnangagwa out of the office. We all need to unite, all of us as citizens. If we miss this opportunity, trust me, people will suffer like never before. That is Howard Adams. Anyway, that is your thoughts on this matter. We will continue to be probing and be talking about that issue as the days progresses. But that being said, thank you so much for being part of this broadcast. I'll see you on the next one tomorrow, and we'll keep on giving you updates and everything that will be happening in the interim. And please subscribe to our channel. Please support us by partnering with us. We want to reach more people, want to be engaging. We also want to be on the ground in Zimbabwe. So as I said in the past few broadcasts that I did, I said we are looking for a partnership of $500. If you are a partner, if you love what we do and you believe in this, please partner with us. We need something like $500 for us to purchase some equipment that is needed for us to continue this work that we are doing. So get in touch with us on the numbers that is scrolling under the screen at WhatsApp number, and then we can see how that partnership is going to work. Please be part of that, and as you support independent journalism. And one day I'll talk to you what sometimes we do this out of our own pockets, and we go out of our way to make sure that we bring you some of these latest development and news and everything that is happening. And the conversation is important for us to conscientize you as the citizens on what needs to be done. And it is important that you partner with independent journalism and independent media. Thank you and good night. I'll see you tomorrow.